As the Story Grows, I'm Brian Patton. Today we welcome Vuur Zijde vocalist Famke Canrinus to the podcast. Vuur Zijde recently released Bozem with Prophecy Productions. If you're a fan of shoegaze with just a touch of black metal, this album is for you. Not a full-on black gaze album, but there are elements sprinkled in there. Famke talks about her musical influences, how the band came together, the importance of the Frisian language, and creating music for the sake of creation. This isn't a long interview, but I hope everyone hears clips and enjoys the band and checks them out because I really dig Bozem, and I hope more people will hear it. And if you're listening, thank you so much for checking out this episode of As the Story Grows. If you're new and already a fan of the band, welcome. Thanks for listening. You can find links in our show notes or over at asthestorygrows.com to our podcast community on Discord, our mailing list on Substack, or you can support the show financially and get early access to every episode via Patreon. Just a heads up, in November, Apple is changing the way Patreon works if you use the app on an iPhone. So it will cost you more for new memberships in November if you sign up for Patreon in the Apple app. So that's a long ways away, and I will give reminders as we get closer. But if you want to sign up for the Patreon, get early access to every episode and other fun stuff, do it at patreon.com/asthestorygrows, and that will get you a better price than going through the Apple app come November. All right, enjoy today's conversation with Famke from Vuur Zijde.
It says everyone can see and hear you. Is that true?
I mean, it's just me, so
okay, perfect.
I'm everyone.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're not live. It's just us.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
A little hasty. I forgot the time, so I rushed. And
oh man, it's all good. It's all good. No need to rush. You're where are you? In Amsterdam?
In Leeuwarden. It's an hour up north from Amsterdam.
Okay. Awesome. Is that roughly where you grew up and spent your life?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
Also, it's a special region in the Netherlands, I would say. We have our own language, and two of the songs on the record are in our language as well.
Oh, that's cool. Is that like a native language, or was there like, I don't know, two countries that kind of came together, and so...
No, it's a native language, yes.
Okay.
The Netherlands has two native languages, and this is the minority language. It's spoken by only, I think, 400,000 or 500,000 people, and that's it.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Worldwide.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's cool. What was growing up like?
It's rural area. It was okay, I guess. Yeah. Really.
Just normal.
Really Dutch. Windmills and cows.
The stereotypical what people think of.
Yes. What got me into music? Well, good question. I've had a relationship with someone who was in music, and I always had a big interest in listening to music. So it got me thinking. I took some singing lessons about 10 or 12 years ago, and now is the time to make something. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. What I mean, when you started singing and were starting to get in, what types of bands or genres were you drawn to?
To listen to or to explore?
Listen.
Oof. Well,
or either. Yeah.
It's cliche, but I have a wide variety of things I really like. I'm into black metal, but I'm into wave 80s country music, folk, mostly guitar-based rock music, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is the music scene like there? Whether it's, having to go to Amsterdam or little town, like, do you have a good music scene? Was it easy to like form bands or see bands?
Oh yes, it's really lively, I would say.
Yeah.
We have a lot of people living in a very small country. Everything is close. You can drive from the north to the south in 3.5 hours.
Nice.
East to west 2.5 or 3 hours. So it's everyone is close. Also, growing up in school, we had a lot of people making music, and also having all the bands that come to our country within a few hours reach. So, it's lively.
Yeah.
And it's easy to find people who are like-minded and to make music with.
That's cool. Is that something that like comes down and is encouraged? Like, I know a lot of European countries, like the government has grants for musicians and like studios available to like help keep, I don't know, kids off the streets or off drugs or whatever. Is that something that the Netherlands has too, or?
I'm not sure how we compare to this countries. I'm not sure. I mean, I grew up in a city where we had music schools, and we get music in school as well. But I'm not sure how we compare to neighboring countries when it comes to this.
Okay. Yeah, I'm always curious because like in the United States, there's no music schools. Like you have music in elementary school, but they quickly try to beat creativity out of you.
In my middle school, we had an official big band, and they did tournaments and
Let's talk about the band. How do you pronounce the band name?
Vuur Zijde.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to fuck that up. So, how'd the band get started?
I approached Nikki, the guitar player, composer. We made some music in the past, and even though that was not a great success, we did like our cooperation, and this is how it started. So I approached him. I said, hey, I would like to make some music with you again. Do we have ideas, time? And he said, yes, actually, I do have 3 songs laying on a shelf that we can work with and see where it goes from there. Nice. We asked our drummer, Richard, to join us there.
What led you? I know a lot of the members in the band have a black metal background, but what led you to this more like, 80s, 90s shoegaze sound?
That's something we all have in common as a common interest. And so it felt interesting exploring that. Also, I have to say, I don't write the music. I do write the lyrics and I sing, of course, but Nick is the composer. So it's hard for me to speak for him or for the rest of the band, for that matter. But this felt natural.
Where'd the band name come from? I know it translates to fire and silk.
We were looking for something both feminine and maybe a little sexy. We wanted the name to be in Dutch because we're all Dutch. Yeah. That felt like a logical choice. And I'm not sure who came up with this idea, but we were exploring words and we thought the contrary of these two felt nice.
How'd the band end up working with Prophecy Productions?
Well, 2 of our band members are signed by Prophecy Productions with their band Luster. And I think we approached a few labels before we approached Prophecy. And Prophecy was like, yeah, let's go. We're into this. Sounds great. we had a split album first with another band called Impavida. And if I'm not mistaken, one of these guys actually approached the label, but this is 5 years ago, so I'm not sure.
Yeah. Yeah. That split came out May 8th, 2020.
Yes.
Terrible time to release an album. What was the experience like putting that out then?
Well, we didn't have any plans going live whatsoever at that point. So, interesting. It was my very first music baby, and it came out in an interesting times for me as well. I just opened my own business here, and that was like the main thing at that moment. And the split album was there as well. I think the strangest moment was when I was in Sweden 1 or 1.5 years after the release. And I actually found the record in a small record store in Stockholm.
Oh, nice.
It was the first time I saw it in the wild somewhere. I just had it on my in my home, and that's it.
Yeah, that's cool. Because you weren't planning on touring, it wasn't like you released this EP and then it's like, oh no, everything is ruined behind it. Like it coming out was all the push was going to be kind of online, anyways.
Yeah, it worked out.
Yeah,
and it also gave us some room and time to write new music, and it took us a while because of COVID, and we all, even though we live in a small country, we do live in all corners. I mean, our guitar player Carmen, she lives more than 3 hours from here, which is like completely the other side of the country for me. It was hard to meet each other, and yeah.
Is that why the time between the releases took so long? Is just like people have other bands and like focus is split and everybody lives far away? Like, are you a band that likes to write together and come together and work in that way?
Most of the songs have been written separately. Maybe Sylvan and Nikki cooperated. And also during the demo process of the singing, I had Nikki here and Richard, our drummer. So, but we have not written anything all together.
New album, Bozem? Is that how you pronounce it?
Bozem.
Bozem.
Yeah.
What led to that title for the record?
This is the third time I get this question, and every time I have to think about it a bit, how to explain this in English. It's bosom. It translates to bosom, and it's in the sense of being close to someone or close to something, or having something close to the heart. I also sing about being a mother and how this feels. So it's a bit maternal as well. Yeah.
So the title really reflects the lyrics of this album.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's highly personal. I wrote the songs in Dutch and in Frisian or Fries, which is my native language. And I wrote this because the lyrics are highly personal. They're about my love life, and this works best in my native tongue, mother tongue.
Yeah. Do you think the music you make kind of works well with, speaking your native tongue, or like, because, depending on different bands, right? I've talked to bands across genres, across different regions. And so often it's either they grew up listening to music in English, and so it's just natural, or, like French bands are often like, French sounds terrible in like metal music, so they go to English. Do you think like the shoegaze genre and like because there's bands like Cocteau Twins who like there's an ethereal quality about it that it lends itself well to, your native language?
Absolutely. I think the Fries works even better than Dutch. Because we have less, we have more g.
Yeah.
And it's, I think it's more of a singing language. So that I think this works. However, I wrote the lyrics for the songs about personal matters, and they were the writing process was cathartic. And of course, we make music hoping that people will like it. But the process was it was all about the process.
Yeah. Do you ever worry that like maybe your music won't connect with a larger audience because of language barriers? Or is that not a concern because it's, first and foremost, it's for you? And
yes.
Yeah.
No, I have never thought this way. I think, let me rephrase this. No, I don't think this will be a problem. I don't think this music is for everyone, even if it would be in English.
Okay. That makes sense. I heard the record and I loved it and was drawn to it, and I have no issue.
Well, thank you so much.
Even though I don't understand it. But it's still beautiful, so it works, right? You can feel the emotion and connection there, even if I don't understand the lyrics.
Well, thanks.
Who came up with the concept for the album artwork?
That would be me. I make hand cut collage, and this is something I made. Also, the artwork that comes with the CD. We have an art book. It's something I made myself.
Awesome. What was the inspiration for the collage?
I work intuitive, and with shapes and colors and vibes. And I actually the album was there first, and after the album was finished, I started making collage.
Yeah. Awesome. That's cool.
This is a good answer for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Album came out last Friday. You didn't tour the EP. Are there any plans to try to play live with this record, or is it just is this a musical project that just exists for people to be creative and have a creative outlet?
Good question. We have no concrete plans yet for playing live. However, with the right offer, we are always willing to talk and see what happens.